A D Jameson. He is the author of 2 books, the prose collection Amazing Adult Fantasy, in which he tries to come to terms with having been raised on 80s pop culture, and the novel Giant Slugs, an absurdist retelling of the Epic of Gilgamesh. He has taught classes at the School of the Arts Institute of Chicago, Lake Forest College, DePaul University, Facets Multimedia, and Story Studio Chicago. He is also the nonfiction reviews editor of the online journal Requited. This fall, he became a PhD candidate at the University of Illinois at Chicago. Congrats. In his spare time, he contributes to the group blog Big Other, and tonight he also has some books for sale. So please visit him after the meeting. Please welcome A D Jameson.
How's this? Good. All right. I've read this series before, but it was different people, and it was in a different location. So it really wasn't this. It really wasn't this serious.
Secretly on Reinhardt.
Tuesday Funk, the next generation.
Yeah. I've been very confused on that. Now it's my turn to confuse you. I'll read something from Amazing Adult Fantasy. Caracas. In Maine, there is a type of brownish-orange duck known as the Caracas. If one sees you, it will waddle over to incessantly peck at your ankles. When threatened, it defends itself by transforming into a cookie tin. The only way to make a Caracas leave is by pretending to sit on the tin, which will then scoot over the horizon. But once it's gone, it will transform back into a duck and soon return. Caracas torment the otherwise fine Maine suburbs, as do another type of duck, the compote, which is yellow and does not transform into anything, as well as a legless, wingless duck that looks like a stubby snake with a duck's head, known as the sausage duck. Old folk call it a douche duck. I met a woman who shared my affection for pretending that wooden ladles were lightsabers and that we were dueling Jedi Knights. We honeymooned at her parents' cabin in Maine, but while we were there, a Caracas pecked her instep, turning her into a little girl. She also lost her memory, and though she still enjoyed playing Jedi lightsaber duels, she could, of course, no longer be my wife. I adopted her as my daughter, and during the winter we figured out that a lid pried from a cookie tin makes a decent sled and an even better snowboard. I know you're not looking at me. I know that you're looking at this right here. Have you seen this yet? I've been looking at this all night. It says, going away for Christmas? Take some tavern just in case. What does that mean? And it's an anthropomorphic leaf. When an anthropomorphic leaf is telling you to take beer with you when you're going to a holiday, that's a good idea. I'm surrounded by these leaves. They're all talking to me. I don't know what, specifically, I wish I had done differently about any of this. Have murdered the Caracas? Have never have gone to Maine? But obviously, somewhere along the line, failed. All right. What to read next week? Okay. I can tell you didn't like that one, so I'll try something different. All right, this is a poem of a kind. These guys over here said don't read any poetry. They wanted like some fiction. They said the poetry so far has been so good, man. There's no way that you're gonna measure up, and they're right. So, but I'm gonna read. Yeah, but I'm gonna read a poem. I don't know if my stuff's poetry or fiction anyway. So this is something different. I wrote this for a friend of mine who I just saw. I just got back from Philadelphia and I saw my friend. This is my right friend from Philadelphia. You arrogant shithead. You cur. You gap-toothed, mumble-mouthed swine. You bare-assed peasant. You shameful nude, you fallen idol. You debased, detestable Humpty Dumpty, sprawled on the wet ground, sniveling in the gutters. You bum, living under a busy toll bridge. You stomach-sagging, aging troll. You gross rubbernecker, with a neck like a dirty, stretched-out rubber. Your stench like a car that's been set ablaze. You unshaven ingrate, with a waddle like that of a turkey en route to the slaughter. You ham-fisted bungler. You gutless wonder. You broke-backed cramp, you knock-kneed pig. You chucklehead. You shit-licking dog. You mastiff that salivates at the thought of licking shit. I know it's okay to say shit because I say that growing up the first one. You dirty water under the bridge, you yellow snow, you piddling stain. You humpback nun, you hunchback whale, you smear, you streak, you goo, you stream. You steaming pile of human putrescence, you childless orphan, you saint of bad habits. You hungry mugger, bellying up to a soggy, overburdened buffet. You ugly trickle of bloody cum. You piss me off. You worm that makes its home in a codpiece, subsisting by sucking sweat from a codpiece. You maggot that makes its abode in a second-hand polyester wig. You dumb, filthy fucker. Oh, this one's even worse. You Ivy Leaguer. I know. I see you guys are the graduates of state schools like me. I know who you are and what you're up to. I know you're in league with the venomous mongrels. You're in cahoots with the cabal, with riffraff, with chaff. You run with the lowlifes round about midnight, carrying sticks, hefting chains, wielding mace. You willingly stoop in the service of Satan. You sacrifice bats in the name of your master. You can't get it up, and you can't get it out. You choke on your own breath. You strangle on your own strange, abominable lies. You stop your mouth with shitty idioms, with expressions like unto excretions, with words made of dung. You skinny, stanky, skunk-scented belcher. You bunion burper. You sick fuck you. You bit of a bumpkin. You bit of bunkum. You perilous straits, you rusted English. You pair of chapped hands, you moldering, stinky piece of fruit. You thing that crawled up from the sewers. You thing that came loose from a passing airplane. You wearer of piss-stained jeans, of piss-stained shoes, of piss-stained baseball caps. You lover of buying and then wearing used thermal underwear. You mop top. Some of these are worse than others. But I hate every one of them. You mop top, you ragamuffin, you walking fashion distortion, you double-decker discotheque disaster, you colossal misfortune, you nervous stretch of pavement, you spit-ridden, dropping, encrusted stretch of road, you long, unhappy stretch of a lifetime wasted waiting, you unpleasantry, you eating disorder, tent-inhabiting, meat-loving chump, milk-suckling cow, you bottomless barrel of laughter and forgetting. I think you guys could see there's even more. This whole time. You toucher of hands that have touched scum and haven't been washed ever since. You feeler of pricks that have come inside common unclean cunts. You eater of this one, wait, this one. You eater of beings that have been deemed unsuitable to eat. You sleeper on always gets it. You sleeper on mattresses stuffed with rotten straw and rocks. You dreamer of a better life that awaits us beyond this miserable life. You smasher of stained glass windows, you vandal come every midnight. You dream a heathen's dream come midnight. You crippled crumple, you coward. You craven beastly thing, you narrow appointment. You make me sick. You make me vomit, then vomit again, on top of the vomit I've already made. You make me want to have an abortion, then go out and procure another abortion. You make me want to blow up an old person's nursing home. You make me want to burn down an all-boys boarding school. You make me want to think that humankind cannot be saved, that humankind doesn't deserve its salvation. You make me think that all the good on this earth is now gone, has been stolen, has dissipated. You make me think that life is not worth very much, worth very little, worth little more than an old potato, worth less than the flesh it's imprinted upon. You make me think that books aren't worth the sums of their pages. You make me think that music is putrid, that dance is a joke, that painting's a scam, and that sculpture is a hoax. You believer in miracles, you expector of good times to come. You break every looking glass that you look into. You break every tourist's camera that swivels in your direction. You make women turn their heads in fright, and men flee moaning in disgust, and children wail themselves hoarse with terror and wet their pants. How you deserve your wreck of a life, your shattered body, your unkempt mind, your ratty clothes, your lack of faith, you gobbler of bumblebees, you marauder, you stroker of hangmen's hairy backsides, you biter of birds. Some of these are easier to picture than others. You biter of birds, you malevolent mischief monger come every midnight, you corner store thief, you drugstore cowboy, you Helen of Troy, you doomed defender of the Alamo, you ejecta of Mount St. Helens. Oh, how you revolt me. Oh, how you reduce me. Oh, how you concern me. Oh, how you consternate me. I know you. I've known you. I knew you. I no longer want to know you. I used to be just like you, you know, and now I feel only sorry for you. You noxious thing. You nauseating thing. You not so nice thing, you nasty piece of business. You. Do I have time to read one more thing? Or? Sure. Do you guys agree with him? Because the host always says, sure. Okay, what to read though? This book is about, like they said, it's about growing up in the 1980s and all of your formative experiences being cartoons and movies, like, not just movies too, because that's not so bad, but like Star Wars and Alf and, yeah, Alf. I watched a lot of Alf when I was a kid, and I don't think that was so good for me. Star Trek, you know, G.I. Joe, all that stuff. And yeah, and you reach a point where, I mean, I went to college and I got there and like everybody else was like, I mean, they'd seen that stuff too, but maybe they had better educations than me. I got there and like, I think the most literate thing I knew was Lord of the Rings. And so I had a lot of catching up to do. And I felt, not that Lord of the Rings is not literate, but so this book is kind of about that disconnect that one experiences when you realize that a lot of what you spent the first 14 or 15 years of your life kind of gobbling down has maybe not adequately prepared you for the rest of your life. But there's some other pieces in here maybe a little more abstract, and I think I'm going to read one of those. You'll sit there and go, what the hell does this have to do with what he was just talking about? Because it probably doesn't. Okay. Sad story of factory girls. He was as busy as ever. He was absorbed in his studies. He was deeply attached to his school. He studied assiduously. He delved into his books. He used his brain. He had the ability to speak fluently. He had clever enunciation. He lived simply and frugally. He was willing to do hard work. He was engaged in 2 trades at the same time. He was born in misery, but brought up in happiness. He was rhesus negative as a baby. He was short for his age as a baby. His head was too big in proportion to his body. He wore rimless spectacles. He wore straw sandals. He was a rosy-cheeked, handsome young man. He was an habitual smoker. He went to bed if he felt sleepy. He behaved pleasantly toward everyone. He showed sincere feeling and expression. He didn't stand on ceremony. He was overly modest. He laughed easily. He laughed like a horse. He split his sides with laughter. He strode into the new year in high spirits. He advanced with great strides. He was pleased with the progress that he had made. The wine never gave him bad after effects. Meats never disagreed with him. He sliced gala apples in 2. He mixed whiskey with water. He drank his fill. He drank to his heart's content. He took what was said with a grain of salt. He behaved congenially toward her. He gave her the compliments of the season. He passed the time of day with her. He walked with her under one umbrella. He was frank and said what was on his mind. He had a jolly time. He helped with her digestion. He supported her proposal. He chopped meat into small pieces. He minced meat. He cut a skein of jute with a sharpened knife. He went 50-50 on expenses. He went Dutch. He made her a duplicate key. He called her by her pet name. He got carried away with good grace. He was beside himself with joy. He praised good deeds and good people. He warm-heartedly served all of the customers. He raced against time and went all out. He won universal praise. He made a lot of money. He hit a tremendous home run. His stock went up 30%. He broke the level of 160 yen. He offered his seat to the general. He invited his guests to be seated. His words set everyone roaring with laughter. He enjoyed great popularity. His meeting was a great success in that the hall was filled to capacity, just like the hall. His students came in swarms. It was well done. He said so himself. Even though, at an unfortunate moment, he typed some words incorrectly. He discovered a nasty plot behind his back. He received all of the blame on his shoulders. He was handicapped by illiteracy. What's worse, he had trouble with his teeth. Someone put despicable ideas into his head. In spite of himself, he pushed his way onto the bus. Unconsciously, he resorted to physical force. He paid extra for taxis late at night. He arrived too late for the best item on the program. He apologized for having kept her waiting. She raised a variety of objections. He said more than was proper. He shot off his mouth. He spoke unkindly. He made caustic remarks. He made an uproar. He said it again and again. He let loose a flood of garrulousness. He demanded immediate attention. He brooked no delay. He disrupted the market. He disturbed the public order. His double dealing was disgusting. He was puzzled by difficult questions. He knew the how, but not the why. He fell into dire straits. His spite was deeply ingrained. He engraved his spite on his bones and in his heart. He broke a dish. He broke a wooden bowl. He broke a glass. He broke a fork. He broke a spoon. He broke a butter knife. He broke a napkin. He broke a tablecloth. He felt sad. He wept bitterly. He endlessly choked with tears. He went around with a long face. He went around with a pained and sorrowful look. He keenly regretted his mistakes. I was duped by that villain, he said bitterly. He had a less sentimental view. He took a bath. He joined a hiking club. He was very fond of skating. Such a person as that, in that way. Thank you.
You sick fuck. Let's have another hand for Adam, please. And D Jameson. And for everybody who read for us tonight, thank you very much. This has been Tuesday Funk. Grab another beer, hang out for a few minutes, and we'll see you next month. Thank you very much for coming.